Alright, this is your study guide for quiz 11. Alright, number 1. J, K, and Ray found themselves far apart when they stopped for lunch while working in the field. Here's what you got to do on this problem. You just draw a triangle. And you label the vertices of the triangle J, K, and Ray. So you call J, the letter K, and the letter R for Ray. What it says is that J, so you're starting at this point J. J could see K, then turn 75 degrees to see Ray. So your 75 degrees goes here. K, now you go down to point K. K could see Ray, then turn 50 degrees and see J. So your 50 degrees goes here. Ray could see J, so now you go to the Ray, or the R, turn 55 and see K. So your 55 degrees goes here. Which two were furthest apart? Well, indirectly, they're asking you for the longest side of the triangle. And the longest side of the triangle is going to be opposite the largest angle. So your 75 degrees is your largest angle. So the side opposite of that is R to K. So the two people that are furthest apart are Ray and K. Number 2. Which labeled angle has the greatest measure? And you've got this picture. Here's angle 1, 2, and angle 3. We said yesterday or the day before that an exterior angle is greater than either of its remote interior angles. Which labeled angle has the greatest measure? Well, angle 3 does. Okay, because angle 3 is greater than angle 1 and angle 2. Alright, number 3, you got a vertical line and a horizontal segment. The segment ends are point I and K. Point of intersection is J. Point A is on the vertical line and point B is on the vertical line. Which statement can you conclude is true from the given information? You're told that AB is the perpendicular bisector of IK. Alright, by definition, we said this week that any point on a perpendicular bisector, so if this is a perpendicular bisector, it splits IK in half. Also said that any point on a perpendicular bisector is equal distance from the end points of the segment. So answer choice A, AJ is congruent to BJ. A to J is congruent to B to J. That's not true. Answer choice B, angle IAJ is a right angle. From I to A down to J would be this angle right up here. That is not a right angle. Answer choice C, IJ is equal to JK. IJ. Alright, here it is. IJ is equal to JK. Yes, that is true. That's the definition of a perpendicular bisector. Alright, that the bisector is split in half. So that's going to be IJ is equal to JK. In number 4, name the smallest angle of triangle ABC. We said yesterday that the smallest angle is going to be opposite the shortest side. The shortest side is 9, so the smallest angle is going to be angle A. Number 5 talks about 3 security cameras mounted at the corners of a triangular parking lot. So here's your triangular parking lot. Let's label these camera 1, 2, and 3. Camera 1 was 158 from camera 2. So the distance between cameras 1 and 2 is 158 feet. Camera 2, which was 121 from camera 3. So camera 2 is 121 feet from camera 3. Cameras 1 and 3 were 140 feet apart. Which camera had to cover the greatest angle? The largest angle is going to be opposite the longest side. So 158 is your longest side, and it is opposite camera 3. Number 6 is just like number 3 that we just did, so I'm going to skip it. I don't think that question is on the quiz because it got repeated in the study guide. So I'm going to move on to question 7. Alright, you've got a diagonal segment here. Here's your given information. The length of DE is shown. What other length can you determine for this diagram? This goes back to problem number 3, or it relates to problem number 3. If G to E, this segment right here, if it intersects FD at 90 degrees and it cuts it in half, then it's called a perpendicular bisector. And we said that a perpendicular bisector, any point on a perpendicular bisector, is equal distance from the end points of the segment. That means that point E is the same distance from D as it is from F. So E to F or F to E is also 12 units long. And that's your answer choice A. These two pieces right here would be congruent. Depending on where the given information is, if GE is a perpendicular bisector of FD, these segments, G to D, would be congruent to G to F as well. Number 8, which of the following must be true? The diagram is not to scale. You've got 2 triangles, so triangle ABC. And then triangle FGH. Alright, if you look at these two triangles, you've got two sides that are congruent to each other. Alright, AB is congruent to HG, and BC is congruent to FG. But this angle B opens up 25 degrees, doesn't it? And angle G opens up 77 degrees. So how can you compare the length of AC to FH? Alright, isn't AC going to be less than FH? It's not going to open up as far, or the 25 degrees doesn't open up as far. So AC has to be less than FH. And again, that's your answer choice A. You could also see it as FH is greater than AC. Both of those would be true. Alright, then on your short answer problems. Short answer number 1. DF bisects EDG. So DF is an angle bisector. Segment EF and segment FG, they intersect at 90 degrees. Alright, so if DF bisects EDG, then any point on DF is equal distance from the sides of the angle. So if this segment is n plus 8 and F to G is 3n minus 4, they're congruent to each other. Find FG is the question. So you need the distance from F to G. So we're going to take n plus 8, make it equal to 3n minus 4. If you subtract n from each side, then 8 equals 2n minus 4. You can add 4 to each side, and 12 equals 2n. Divide both sides by 2. So 6 would equal n. The question was, how far is it from F to G? So your FG is going to be equal to 3 times 6 minus 4. And 18 minus 4 is 14. Alright, number 2 on that short answer. It gives you the measure of angle A, angle B, and angle C. List the sides of triangle ABC in order from shortest to longest. So on this problem, you've got a triangle with vertices ABC. You're given each of the angle measures. Angle A is 9x minus 7. Angle B is 7x minus 9. And angle C is 28 minus 2x. You're asked to list the sides from shortest to longest. In order to list the sides, you need the angle measures. In order to get the angle measures, you need to find the value of x. You've got 3 angles in this triangle. The 3 angles added together, you got your 9x minus 7 plus a 7x minus 9 plus a 28 minus 2x that all have to equal 180. So now you're going to combine your like terms. you got a 9x and a 7x and a negative 2x. So 9 plus 7 is 16, minus 2 is 14x. Then you got to combine your whole numbers. So you got a negative 7 minus 9 plus 28. Negative 7 minus 9 is negative 16 plus 28. That's a positive 12. And it's still got to equal 180. So if you subtract 12 from each side, your 14x equals 168 and divide by 14. Alright, so x equals 12. Now you've got to substitute. So angle A is going to be 9 times 12 minus 7. (101°). Angle B is going to be 7 times 12 minus 9, which is 75°. And 28 minus 2 times 12 is going to be 28 minus 24, and 28 minus 24 is 4 degrees. So you need you're ordering your sides from smallest to longest. So opposite the 4-degree angle is side AB. Opposite the 75-degree angle is side AC. And then opposite the 101-degree angle is side BC. So there's your angles, there's your sides ordered from the smallest to the largest. Number 3, Q is equidistant from the sides of angle TSR. So if Q is equidistant, then this is true. If Q is the same distance from the sides of an angle, then it's on the angle bisector. And if it's on the angle bisector, then your 4x plus 5 is equal to your 8x minus 11. In this case, you're asked to find the measure of angle RST. So if these two angles are equal to each other, then 4x plus 5 is equal to 8x minus 11. If you subtract 4x from each side, then 5 equals 4x minus 11. And if you add 11 to each side, 16 equals 4x, and you can divide by 4. So 4 is equal to x. Once you know the value of x, you can substitute. So I'm going to take this angle right here, the 8x minus 11. So 8 times 4 minus 11 is 32 minus 11. And 32 minus 11 is 21. Now be careful on this problem because they're asking for RST. RST is the entire angle. So if one of these angles is 21 degrees and they're both equal to each other, well Well, then they're both 21 degrees. And if that's the case, then the measure of RST is going to be equal to 21 times 2, which is 42 degrees. Number 4 says that DF bisects EDG. Another angle bisector problem. DF bisects EDG. Angle bisector. Angle bisector. Any point on the angle bisector is equidistant from the sides of the angle. So in this case, you're asked to, on your study guide it says find the value of x. On your quiz it's going to say find the value of EF or FG, one of the two. So your setup here is that your 8x minus 42 is equal to the 15x. So you can subtract 8x from each side. I'm sorry, this is 8x plus 42 up here. Alright, so 42 equals 7x. If you divide both sides by 7, then 6 is equal to x. The question is going to ask for the length of EF. Alright, so if x is equal to 6 and EF is represented by 8x plus 42, then we got 8 times 6 plus 42, which is 48 plus 42. And that's 90. Number 5. List the sides in order from shortest to longest. The sides from shortest to longest. We've got J, K, and L, 64, 50, and 66 degrees are your interior angles. So your smallest side is going to be opposite the smallest angle. So your smallest angle is 50 degrees. The side opposite that is JL. Your next largest angle is 64 degrees. The side opposite it is JK. The largest angle is 66, and the side opposite of it is K to L. Number 6. Name the second largest angle of the 4 angles named in the figure, not drawn to scale. If the side included by angle 1 and angle 2 is 11. The side included by angle 1 and angle 2 is 11. The side included by angle 2 and 3. The side included by angle 2 and 3 is 16. And the side included by angle 3 and 1, angle 3 and angle 1 is 14. Name the second largest of the four angles. Here's your largest of the four angles, your exterior angle. Alright? It's bigger than everything on the inside. So now, the smallest side of this triangle is the 11. The angle opposite the 11 is angle 3. That makes angle 3 the smallest in there. Alright? Name the second largest of the four angles. So the second largest of these four angles is going to be the angle opposite the longest side. So that's going to be angle 1. And that concludes your study guide.